We just got to smile and dance along, even though we can't hear the music. That's the price you pay
And then I
as
even
a
set up a
audience
fade out
member.
button. See, that was really freaking cool. It only took me 3 months to figure out a fade up button on my Stream Deck. You know what time it is. It's 4:19 and some change, and we're actually here on time for once. This is BowtieUP Live. We come to you every Tuesday and Friday afternoon, except for last Tuesday afternoon because somebody derped, to bring you the kind of edutainment that you want and deserve. So, without dragging things out any further, you know who I am. I'm Lee Rowley of Lee Rowley Copy Branding at Copy Brand University and all that hype. And over to my right here is a robot who has a Sisyphean task of never being able to stop walking. What's going on, Alex?
Hey, hello, friends. You know who I am. My name is Alex McDowell, owner of A3 Innovation and partner at Real Impact Solution. Overall fan of technology, but bigger fan of you, the audience, as I take my robotic arm and I stretch it out, and I can't point towards you guys completely 3D yet, but you guys know what that means. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest with us today. Down below me, as I point, boop, boop, boop. And Amy is joining us. Amy Blaschka, thank you so much for being here. Please take a moment to introduce yourselves and tell everybody about you.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for that intro, Alex. I'm Amy Blaschka. I am a social media ghostwriter, and I help leaders craft their stories to communicate and connect better.
Ooh, that sounds like something we all can use right now.
I hope so.
We talk about things like that on this show once in a while, don't we?
Every now and again.
Maybe here and there. Yeah.
We made a few golden C's in our day.
Do we still have that?
Of course we still have the golden C.
Okay.
Unless
well, I'll tell you what.
Can
you resurrect it?
Can I resurrect it, Lee? I already got it queued up, guys. We're good. The golden C of LinkedIn. You guys know we got 4 golden rules. Comment, connect, content, call. Whoop. We'll come back to that. You guys will get it drip throughout the show. You know we got to build anticipation. Can't get all of that all at once. So just so you know, we got the golden C. We got ghostwriting, content creation. This is going to be a lot of fun today.
Oh, it's absolutely going to be a blast. So where are we starting off? I was off doing some other things when you two were conversing about how we were going to kick this thing off today. So I'm running blind.
Absolutely. So what we thought we might talk about today is just some of the challenges that leaders are facing and why personal branding is important right now, why branding is important, why content creation on LinkedIn is important, and how you can use that content and that personal brand to actually drive your overall organization and or your sales efforts and being an entrepreneur or your side hustle or whatever it is. So, Amy,
Awesome.
as the wonderful, wonderful guest that is joining us today, you get to go first, followed by our good friend and copywriting curmudgeon, Lee Rowley. Amy, you can kick us out. So why is it so important that we have this content?
Well, here's the thing about personal brands. Whether you believe it or not, you have one. So you can live in denial that you don't or it's not important, but there's one that exists, and you probably want to get ahead of that messaging and sort of control that person. What do you want people to come to associate with you? And when it comes to content, it's a great way to share what matters most to you, what you're about, your value system, your perspective, your point of view. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a leader. When you are intentional with that and you put out content that aligns sort of in your area of expertise and what really makes sense and connects the dots for people, you will naturally attract those people. They'll get to know, like, and trust you because they've heard from you again and again. If you are consistently putting out content around sort of your area of expertise, that they'll go, oh, okay, that Amy, okay, she's a social media ghostwriter. I get it. That's what she's all about. And I always use the example, if I suddenly put out content about something that was outside of my wheelhouse, like cryptocurrency, people be like, what? You would just set them up for confusion, and you don't want to do that. You want clarity around your personal brand. You want people to instantly know who you are, the value you bring, who you serve, and how you do it.
That sounds like a big task. And I know that both you and Lee do an incredible job of this. And so, Lee, following up on that, how do you do that? I mean, how do you consistently drive value with your posts and also remain true to your personal brand? How do you go about figuring out what kind of content you want to post? And do you or how do you measure it against your own brand that you've created?
Listen, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This is the connection economy. Read my lips. This is the connection economy. You have been warned.
So what that means is that you, in order to make a connection, you have to know who you're talking to and what's going on in their lives, where they're really coming into the conversation, what other conversations they've had, what competitors they've dealt with, what they've experienced in the past. All of these things bring them to where this conversation needs to happen now. I would say that the magic happens at the intersection of why I'm ready to help and why you're ready for me. Or why you're ready for change.
Yeah.
And that's finding that intersection. In order to do that, you've got to find out where they're at right now. And I know I just said horrible English, where they're at right now, but
no judgment.
I'm from Southern Ohio, so I'm hillbilly patois. It just is what it is. So anyway, finding out where they are, where they're coming from, and how you can speak to them in a way that nobody else does. Because that's where the magic happens. And then they don't just see you as a provider, but as the provider, as the authority, as the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ha 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 ha. What'd you think of my megaphone voice? You like that?
I loved your megaphone voice.
I've got a booing one too. I don't know how that goes.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, except for getting cheers and tomatoes thrown at me and all sorts of, oh goodness. It sounds like they're about to set a car on fire back there.
So we're not going to do that anymore. All right, getting back to the actual discussions, and somebody's probably expecting some sort of useful content around here. Alex, what you got?
Yes,
You're the one asking the questions today.
Okay,
Or at least
so I will. I got my question eyes on, everybody. No worries. We're gonna go inspector mode over here. So crafting your content, going to where people are. These things are very important. But why, at the end of the day, does someone take the time to interact with your posts? When you're writing content and you're creating this and you're establishing our brand, you're doing it because you're getting visible, you're getting public, you're getting out there. When people start connecting with your brand and they start to respond to your posts, how do you know why they're responding? How do you know the motivation behind their responses to gauge the effectiveness of your brand? Is that even the right question to ask?
So, I mean, I think engagement should be your key, that you want to, you're trying to elicit a response, right? That's why even bother putting content out if you're just going to put it in jet, right? I mean, the whole idea, but the way I see social media is you can't be social if it's all one-sided, right? It's got to be at least two people, and the communicate or the media part of it really is talking about communication. So you want to have a conversation. To me, it's an insight into who you are. So it's an invitation to invite somebody into a conversation. It should pique their interest enough that they're like, I want to learn more. And they do that. They'll like it, that they comment. They may reach out to you privately through a DM or an email. And, when you take note of that, when you track that, and don't just, oh, that's great, they reached out to me. Find out more. They will tell you. If you are listening and you're, taking note of that and paying attention, there'll be certain themes and certain things that you put out there that are going to resonate more than others with your intended audience. And like Lee said, it should really always be about who is your intended audience. You should not try to just put out generic content because you think, oh, I think this will go viral. I think it'll get a lot of likes. Well, likes in business doesn't get you anything, right? I mean, it really is about reaching your intended audience and what matters most to them, and then what do you want from them? Do you want to partner with them? You trying to hire them? Are they trying to hire you? What do you want? And that's kind of where I think you should start. What do you want? Like, what is your goal here? And how can you kind of work your content, collaborate, and kind of make it relevant for that intended audience to kind of do what you hope they will do, which either is just connecting with you. That could be a possibility. It could be that they want to partner with you in business, or like I said, maybe if they're going to hire you, maybe you're the leader trying to attract new talent to your company, and part of that is sharing who you are as a leader and kind of your vision of that. It really gives others a way to get to know you and provides what I call an invitation to kind of further engage. So you want to make that clear and open for them to do so in a way to do it really easily.
Absolutely. You make an excellent point, and one of the easiest ways to fail is to just not know what your goal is to begin with. And that's a sure way to fail. Of course you're going to. You didn't achieve your goal because there really wasn't one other than, stay in business, maybe. That's a little nebulous, but that's, a lot of it. And I've been guilty of that, of just, not really thinking forward past the next few clients and just being like, just things go that way. But, we've all seen from the disruption in the last few months that, a bomb can drop and suddenly you're either going to have your shit together or you're not. Mm-hmm. And so, it's so important to keep, to me, the relevance stands out. I mean, going to Alex's question, good content has to be consistent, accessible, relevant, authentic, and trustworthy. Mm-hmm. So, and that relevance is just one of the biggest keys to it, because if it's not relevant to what's going on in their minds, then they're going to skip right over it.
Yep.
You get 0 dwell time and your posts never get anywhere. And it doesn't matter whether you're after the likes or the dollars or to create change. If you're going to bother putting the content out there, you want it to be seen, and for it to be seen, it has to be relevant to your audience.
Right. There's way too much noise out there anyway. I mean, you're competing with the short attention span and the scroll. So you got to have something that's going to grab them for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I don't need more Henry Ford quotes in my life. I really don't. Do you? I mean, are you feeling a shortage of motivational quotes in your life, Amy?
No.
I'm
not feeling a shortage. I am a very optimistic and positive person anyway, and I see stuff flow through, which is great. I mean, here's the thing. I would rather somebody do that and be positive than be super negative and divisive on social media. So I will say that.
For sure.
However, when you only share a motivational quote with no other, language of your own, it's like, why bother? This is great because people will guess, well, maybe she thinks that's important, but you need to have your own point of view. If you're going to do that, if you're going to share anything, somebody else's, yours, or have something to say about it. Tell us why. Why does it matter? Why does this matter to your audience that you're sharing this motivational quote, or what's your take? And that's when something gets interesting, right? Because it's like, it's not the same thing. It's like, ooh, well, Lee took a different stance with this one, or Amy said something really interesting it made me think about something in a different way, or I want to learn more. So you can't just put stuff out there without any sort of context or relevance. You have to kind of add your take. So that makes me, it's like if somebody shares my content, I'm always very thankful, but it's like, add your own bit at the top if you're going to do that, so your audience knows why you're sharing it. Like, really,
right. Yeah, and I'm not against people sharing quotes, but yeah, it's in context. I did this the other day with the Rollo May quote. The opposite of courage isn't cowardice; it's complacency or something like that. Conformity was what it was. Yeah. But even though I don't usually use quotes, it was the context surrounding that was important to me, and interpreting it through the lens of what my audience wants to know. So you're exactly spot on with that. That's such an important thing. If you're going to use other people's content, find some way to make it your own or expound upon it, or otherwise there's really no point in it being out there.
Yeah. Just tell us why you're sharing it. I mean, it can be like one line, and it's not just cool article. It's like it's a little more than that.
Yeah, all right. Oh, shoot, that happens. You know what? Alex has been abducted. This happens from time to time. He was involved in a zombie outbreak a few weeks ago. Yeah, and he just disappeared. And so
it is funny. So, we're due for that zombie thing too, because we've got murder hornets and everything else going. So.
Right. Why not throw some zombies in effect? I think I have.
Because I do have a zombie voice.
Oh, I am a child. Anyway. So going back to this discussion, for me, immersion is how I find that relevance, is just going into, go where they hang out. If it's a private Facebook group, if they're hanging on YouTube, what are they saying? How are they commenting on videos? Yeah. What are they reading? What kind of movies do they watch? What influences them? Because discovering those things helps you discover how to be relevant to them.
That's right. It's funny. I'll talk to so we're coming at this from two different perspectives, right? So I'm writing first person for my leadership clients. So for them sharing their own wisdom, it's a little different than kind of what you're doing and trying to get into that. It's the audience, but similar process where everything that I write for my clients, I say, this should be just coming from your everyday life, from your customers, from your clients, from your experiences, from your insights, the things that happen, because that's kind of the same idea. It's like, what's real? Like, you can have a million platitudes and talk about how awesome you are, but nobody gives a crap, honestly. It's not about you. It's really about showcasing sort of, how did you overcome this, or what you had a challenge, or you're noticing a trend with your clients or a problem or something that will, most likely if they're dealing with it, it's about paying attention, right? And like, hey, that seems to be happening. They're talking about that, or maybe that's relevant.
Exactly. Well, when I'm working with clients, I'm directing that immersion at who their buyer is. So, it's always who I'm looking to step into the shoes of is they're like, okay, who's reading this and why, and what do they want to get out of it? And if you don't ask yourself those questions so that you can achieve those goals, then again, there's just no point in putting it out there. I'm going to stop the show and say hello and see if I can do this. I can never find the banner. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Stopping the show and saying hello.
There we go.
Because we got some lovely people to say hello to and some wonderful comments in the audience. So, Gabriel, hey, what's going on, man? Yeah,
what up, bro?
He says, holy crap, the Alex robot was back.
Yeah, guys, the robot, I love, it's my favorite thing ever to do, but it does cause me to go down once in a while because I'm playing really, really hard with video in and out. So I'm trying to take my video, do 2 NDI sources, going to a main, and then getting redistributed, all while trying not to affect my video out on StreamYard. And let me tell you, that is not easy. Gabriel, you know what I'm doing. I am using Character Animator. Excellent pickup on that. Shout out to, what's it called? OK Ninja, I want to say. Just search Adobe Character Animator Puppets. OK Ninja has completely royalty-free ones, including that cool robot, which has a bunch of cool functionality. So shout out, Gabriel. Thank you for noticing all of that. I do love my robot. Very proud of him.
Right on.
Takes a lot to get him into a stream.
Hello, just so I can see my lovely there. Hello. I know you can hear me in the next room, but that's, anyway. So thanks for hanging out with us and putting up with us and all that good stuff. Amy Blaschka is so awesome. That is absolutely true. Picky. He wishes the robot would dance. Man, I think we may have to block him. I don't know. He's just always in here causing problems. Nope. And what do we got? Here's someone I have not seen in a long time. Do you guys know Allie?
Hey, Allie.
Hola.
Alex, I know you do.
It's so lucky to meet you today.
So anyway, I haven't seen you for a long time. So hello, I hope you're doing well. And PM me or something. Let me know what's going on. And we'll get rid of this banner and get back to the show. And
But
I
before
throw
we
the
do
baton
that,
to you.
we'll
What?
throw rule 1 of the golden sea at you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
I bet you guys
I-
thought we
I
forgot
screwed up
about
my ear.
this. It's
Yeah,
okay. You
thank
didn't
you.
screw up. I had it ready on backup. Don't even worry. Golden C, remember how to actually forge authentic connections with people on LinkedIn. Rule number 1 is comment. So comment something with substance on somebody's post. You see Amy's wonderful post. Gabriel, I know what you said, that you can only add crap. That is completely false. I'm calling you out on that. You got to go in there and everything you add is for value, bro. You got great insights. So anything you can add on that post and comment to show that you're paying attention to them, not just another, oh, great share, like we see 100 times a day, is going to really add some value and get you in the mind of the person that you are trying to forge that connection with. And that's rule number 1, the golden sea.
Absolutely. Can I add to that too? Because I think
Please.
if there are folks, leaders and entrepreneurs and people out there who are hesitant they're not really sure yet what should they be posting out there, a great way to start is to be an active and intentional commenter on other people's stuff.
Who do you comment on? Because that's something that we get asked, how do I create my own content? You can tell anybody to be themselves, but I personally, when I was trying to grow my network, I fell into the let's build a connection train trap, like 2006 Twitter, and I didn't realize that it was the same on LinkedIn. So what kind of things are actually valuable for us to be commenting on that are going to give us those good communications? Like you talked about a discussion in the comments, that's something that you don't see very often. So if you can clue us in on how the heck you figure out what to comment on to get that, I would be blown away.
Well, there's a couple things. If the original piece of content asks literally a call to action to let me know in the comments or asks a question, oh, how have you dealt with this situation before, or what about this? Then it's relatively easy for somebody who's reading it to join in that conversation, right? To kind of add their perspective. But I think if you're kind of figuring out, well, where should I post? What makes the most sense? I would say, see who's posting in sort of your wheelhouse, your arena, what makes sense. Either it's your industry or, or where the people that you are trying to reach hang out and who they follow and the content that they are engaging with, because that'll give you clues what matters most for them. And then be visible and post there and read what they say, maybe comment on some of those things. So you can comment directly on a post, but you can also comment on a comment. So if somebody has a particularly insightful take on somebody else's piece of content, hey, and that you start a dialogue there. And if you really like what they say, you can reach out to them and form a connection, not just for the numbers, but because you see that they're of the same mindset, that it's like, I really like the way they think. This is going to, I don't know. And value. Attract kind of the tribe that you want in that way, I think. But there are a lot of folks that I think are very hesitant if they're not used to consistently sharing their own content. But a good way to start is with intention in the comment section. It's a little less scary.
Seems more manageable and bite-sized. And then what I heard is that you can almost take somebody that you look up to, that has a lot of really good posts. And I'll take Lee, for example. Lee always has calls to action in his posts. He's always surveying the audience. So take somebody like that, and you can go on their profile and then just look through some of their posts and pick out one that's easy to comment on. And then you can just throw a comment on that, and you keep doing that, and you can take those small measurable steps of even taking somebody who you have something to comment on, who you have similar ideologies or a similar space to, and kind of use them as that guinea pig to build that confidence that you need while you're ramping up.
Right. And hopefully whoever's content that you're posting on and taking the time to leave a comment actually takes the time to engage with you as well. That there's some sort of it. I mean, as much as they can. If you really take the time to have a really detailed and sort of thoughtful thing, I would hope that someone would be like, oh, that's really cool. I love your take. And what about this? And it kind of continues it. But again, it's one of those, it's a way to drive connection and a way to foster communication and just to kind of open it up to create a conversation from more than just kind of what's there and sort of great post, sort of thing.
So don't be afraid to ask questions. Oh.
No, you're good. The questions, that's a perfect thing to lead right into, because mine was going to be, what do you do instead of saying great post? So there's answer number one.
Yeah, that's just it. It's you know what, even worse than great post. I've seen so many people that do this that say, I agree, I absolutely agree with you. And that's really like all they say. It's just like, I agree with you. I see somebody do that. He did, I agree with you to one person. He goes to the next person. Oh, I absolutely agree with you. He did it again and again and again. And you know what he became at that point? A
Agreeable?
comment chameleon.
And the funny thing about the algorithm is it sorts that stuff out. Because when you read about how LinkedIn actually like ranks your profile, your comments and everything that you do is ranked in how interactive it is. So the things that you
Exactly.
do, if people are commenting in response to or liking that comment, that's going to rank your comments higher and make it easier for more people to see your comments. So if you're just spamming 100 people with that nice post and getting one like, but then Lee or Amy over here is playing it the smart way with like 3 posts maybe that they do, and they comment and they really interact with somebody and get a conversation going, they're going to outrank you in comments, and you're going to feel real bad when you're burning for 8 hours trying to write as many thanks great posts for sharings as you can and not getting any traction with it.
Yeah.
So,
I would say one way to kind of amp up that, even if you agree, because there are a lot of folks that I follow that we are of the same mindset, and I will agree because we're like, but it's repeating back or finding part of that post that particularly resonates with you, right? So they may have said something that you're like, oh, like that last line or something that there's like, I really love this bit. And, if something really speaks to you, again, it's like sharing somebody else's like, tell us why, tell us why. And I will tell you as a content creator, I love to know that. Like, that is really valuable information for me to know if there's a particular line or a particular bit of what I've written that people go, yeah, I love that, or
do you use
something
that?
else, because it sort of drives it in a different direction and kind of opens up the conversation in a new arena.
Do you look at talking about social media content strategy, do you look at the overall performance and engagement of different posts and kind of break them into categories of what's working, what's not for a certain person? So how do you or how do you typically see that kind of playing out? Because everybody has a different approach and a different style to building their profile. So the results that they get when they're talking to people are going to vary a lot. So how do we kind of use that data-driven approach, if you will, to really maximize the effectiveness of our interactions?
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you what I do, what works for me. So I have a Google Sheet for every bit of content that I put out. So I have it by date, I have it by type. So whether it's, an update, if it's a visual with an update, if it's a video, if it's an article, if it's a document sort of thing, just to kind of see. And I color code it because I'm a geek like that. And I like to see it that way. And then I will track, the views whatever the likes, the comments, the shares. And then I kind of take it all and divide it up to kind of try to get some sort of percentage of engagement to kind of see. Now, that can be misleading depending on the reach you get or not. Right. But I also look at, if there's something in the comments, the actual comments, not just the number of them. But if I keep hearing like, wow, or, I know that I suddenly am getting a ton of connection requests of people who are actually saying, God, that article that you wrote really spoke to me or something. That I make note of in that sheet as well. Like, okay, this is really a hot topic, or this is something that's really resonating with people. And the same with something that really just sort of tanks, because the reality is I can think something is awesome and I'll put it out there and I'll be like, meh, or there's something out there that I'm like, well, it's all right. It's within my wheelhouse, but I don't love it. And suddenly it'll do well. Because someone is always listening, right? Or reading. So you should always keep that in mind, because, as long as it speaks to at least one person, that it's like, yeah, that mattered. There's probably a few more that go unsaid, because there are lots of folks, the lurkers, right?
On
the platform.
People like me.
Well, but they never comment. They might hit like or something. They never do that. And you don't hear from them until like suddenly and this has happened where I'll get a message. I've been following your content for months. And I'm like, you have? I've never heard from you. And they're fans and they want to work with me or something, but it's amazing. So I think as best as you can is to try to track it, pay attention, kind of see what works, and then test it, right? If you're like, oh, this topic or this format, because the formats and try different formats, this really works for me, or this really, my audience really responds to this, try another one. and another one.
Mhm.
See if you can repeat that if that makes sense, or break it up, or say, okay, well, the message work. Maybe I try a different format. Does this format, does it work as well in a video as it does in a written post?
How do you think about videos? What do you think about video content on LinkedIn? Because I get a lot of mixed feedback.
Yeah, you get negative feedback.
Me? Oh, no, I don't put out any video content. Then I would get positive and negative, and I know a lot more. No, I mean about the effectiveness of videos, throttling in the algorithm, engagement rates, things of that nature. How do you overall feel about using video as part of your strategy, and if so, how much?
Okay, so for me, I was hesitant to do it only because I identify as a writer, right? So I feel, and as a ghost writer, I can't share the work I do with my clients. So it's one of these, like, people have to just take my word for it, right? I'm a writer. So I write a lot, but what I've found, video does extremely well for me. And I think it's, one is because I don't speak in a monotone, right? I'm pretty expressive and engaging, like just naturally, I write the way I speak. But also it is, and I kind of kept pushing it aside, like, no, I don't need to do this because nobody really wants. But people feel like they know me, they like me, they trust me. And if something is working for you, don't ignore it. So I pepper it in. I probably do one a week. Now I have a series called Ask Amy where people can ask me any questions. And so it's, about kind of writing and different things. But I think if you are disciplined enough to be able to get your message out in a concise and compelling manner, then by all means do a video. But please, don't hit record and then meander all over the place for 8 minutes and expect that people are going to pay attention. Nobody wants that, right? You need to kind of know what you're, just like anything other piece of content, have some intentionality and purpose, and then speak to that. And short and sweet is, I would just do that under a minute if you can do it when you're just starting out. Just quick, one takeaway. That's great. So I would say that. There are people that do them daily. There are people that's their primary medium. And if it works for them, fantastic. But I think try it, right? Like anything else, test it. There's no like hard and fast rule, like you must do it like this. But if you're going to do it like anything else, have your reason. Why are you doing it? Who are you doing it for? And what are you going to say? And I would say err on the side of brevity. That goes for writing too. Like, just get to the point. What is it? Let us know. And don't sort of, take your time to get to the point, because you will lose people, and you don't want to lose or confuse people, right? You want to draw them in. What do you think, Lee?
You have it.
Absolutely.
Don't lose or confuse.
Yeah.
I feel like that can be a fishing motto too. Like,
Don't lose. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going into all that, but yeah,
Fishing?
I totally agreed. And I just want to bring up that we do have ducks today. So I
Gabriel
know
asked if
Gabriel
we
was
were
like,
doing any ducks
yeah,
today.
yeah.
We have a ducket bucket where we chuck our ducks that we give.
It's
Sometimes
you
gotta
choose
give a
what you
duck.
give a duck about. That's how this works. Okay,
Okay.
you either give a duck or you don't give a duck. And sometimes we do contests with this. But that's enough of that. I sidetracked. There were a couple of great comments that I wanted to bring up too. So Allie talking about formulas for, how about formulas for content? Sorry.
Oh.
Amy's gonna okay, it's only more high impact than totally agree. You're like, wait a minute.
We're good. All right.
Okay. What do you think, Amy?
I'm reading it. So
Okay.
share your opinion, provide an actionable suggestion. There's only 3. I love it. That's great, Allie. I mean, I've never kind of heard it expressed that way, but I think that's, if that's what makes it easier and kind of a nice takeaway for folks to do it, then try it. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the suggestion.
How do you feel about kind of adding variables into formats? So using a format but having it dynamically created. So like what Allie is suggesting, where we have, hey, look, what if we just follow this general framework or structure, restate, share, provide action? How do you feel about things like that, where you're kind of getting it down to a system or an operationally doing things?
I think, if you're of the mindset that works for you, that structure, and that's the way your brain works, and that's the way you process information and the way that you want to share, then I say by all means do it. I think that just the caution is not to get so systematic that it doesn't really sound like you, or and it's not tying back to the original post, that there's still relevancy. And you have your own flair, your own perspective, make sure you get it in, but I think that's okay. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, it becomes a necessity. I mean, if you're going to be able to keep up with building a business, it has to happen. I mean, one of my favorites, and I hate templates as you know how much I hate templates, but anyway, those formulas are necessary. And one of my favorite things, if I'm connecting with somebody, is to reference something they've written. So I start out with something like, it's just like, hello, Amy, I read in your last post this, and, that really resonated with me. Or, when you said this in your podcast, maybe think about this or have this question or whatever, and just, it would be a privilege to connect. And that's kind of I find a line that just makes me sound polite, even though I'm a jerk. And then they don't know until it's too late.
Well, the fact that you're actually personalizing a connection request is already setting you apart. Can we talk about that? Because they're like,
please do.
Less than 1% of the connection requests that I receive have any message. Now, and the ones that have the generic sort of thing, I'm like, but the people that actually take a moment to provide some context, and say, like you said, hey, Amy, I really enjoyed your last article or post or whatever, or this spoke to me, or there's something. Again, it's about making it easy, right, for somebody.
Making an effort too.
Yeah, and
showing them that you're interested in them. Who wants to literally just like connect with somebody and then listen to them just talk about themselves?
Well,
that is not like why most people go to sleep at night.
Or you have to wonder, why are they reaching out to me? I don't get it. Like, why? And you'll significantly increase your chance of someone accepting your connection request if you provide some context and you personalize it to them. And it doesn't take a long time. It really doesn't. But if you want to start that, the goal should be you're not just collecting people, that you are forming relationships and connections with these folks, that there's a real human being on the other side of that request. That the best way to do that, I mean, you have one chance, right? And you push that out there. Or worse is if, it's blank, there's a lot of blanks up, but worse is if you immediately hit up for, I'm having a lot of like rhymey things today.
Yeah, I'm loving it, Amy. You're on fire, bro.
You're on fire. If you're in your connection request that's personalized, you are already selling me on your stuff. Like,
Do you know how ridiculously easy that is? Like, seriously, just personalized connection requests? You take 3 seconds of effort. How sad is that? We have to ask for somebody to just take a second to introduce themselves and care about you.
Yeah, and you can always see through the ones that are like the mass bot things where, I got something that said, well, hi, Amy, as a leader in the lending space. I'm like, no, not me.
But let's not shame bots by saying that they're just using bots. Those guys are using macros. They're very different. I built bots. You have to teach a bot. A bot has a structure and intelligence behind it. It's not just this dumb animal that's going to look up whatever space you're in and return it off of LinkedIn. That's just archaic and barbaric, quite frankly. But if you have something with real, like Ali, saying dynamically created, that's one of my favorite words because coding, bro. Just all about having it generated at runtime, even down to server streaming. And server streaming, we will continue to say you're going to see some cool stuff coming up, way cooler than the robot.
Nice.
Can I rant for a minute?
Yeah,
please do.
Yeah.
All right, please. In fact, I'm going to do my soapbox voice this time.
Okay.
Again. Ooh. Really.
Because look, if you're going to connect with somebody with the intention of doing business with them, you should find something out about them before you connect. You chuckleheads. If you don't give me any idea that you've visited my profile and know what I am about, I am going to pull your underwear over your head and kick you down the damn hill. That's all there is to it.
I had somebody this morning who was just like, it didn't ask anything about me. They connected with me and they're like, well, I represent health insurance companies that help small business owners find the affordable health care.
Got
They're
a
one of
lot of
these
those
like,
recently.
yeah,
Those guys
yeah,
must
yeah.
be
And I
short on
was
their
just
commission
like,
checks this month.
oh, well, nice to meet you. I'm a salty old copywriter who writes for $100 million companies. And so he comes back, he says, well, if any of them need health insurance, could you send them my way?
They all need health insurance. How did you know?
What I said?
Yeah.
People.
Yeah. It's just thinking through, taking that extra step, that's all.
Or just not being obvious and stupid. Like my first message I pull up in my inbox is some guy who he sent me 4 messages so far. All of them about his services. The 5 actually.
Ooh,
Including
well,
two links to a salesprocess.io
Copy of War
link.
and
Good for
Peace.
you, man. That
Do
makes
you-
me literally the only response this guy would get would be an invite to a phone call, and that phone call would be streamed, and he'll be on BowtieUP Live, and I'll have it live to like 26 different destinations, and he can explain why the hell he's doing this, and then I'll post it on my video feed to LinkedIn, and that's why I don't fuck with tech people. But like what are people getting out of this stuff? Like you're just wasting people's time at that point.
Yeah, can I, and there's one thing, and I don't know if you guys get this. I get a lot of these, and I've talked to some of my female counterparts. They're the hi, hello, how are you? Separate like messages, like 12 of those. Yeah.
Who was it? It was Heather Hauka that was on, and she was talking about getting those, all the just highs. If you lead something with hi or hey or hello, no, you're not going to get a response. Do you get the mean ones a couple lines down after you don't respond for a couple times and they get their feelings hurt? Yes. Yes. Are you there? No, clearly not. You answered your own question. See above.
Yeah. It's a little freaky. I mean, because most people are good people. I really do believe that. But then there's a few that, So I've gotten better about nope, I'm not going to respond, or I'm going to block, because I've had to do that too, which is unfortunate. That's pretty extreme, but
I just like to ask questions. I typically don't get responses.
Yeah.
Like ask them why they picked you. Ask somebody what they got from prospecting you. Why do I fit within your sales cycle? Why choose me?
Yeah.
They don't like responding to those things.
No. Well, it's because I'm a leader in lending. That's why.
Of course.
That's why.
How could we forget?
Whatever.
Oh,
Yes,
hey, do you want to
Gabriel,
drop
if you
another C
comment-
there, Mr.
Yes.
Alex? Okay.
Gabriel, let's break this down. I love Devil's Advocate, by the way. So if you comment awesome on every post, you won't get far. You'll get very far away from your destination. Remember that. So is this a good comment? Do you like me? Let me know in the comments. I don't know if it's going to be good content or not. You're probably going to get a lot of not anymore after posting this BS. So good luck with that. Let us know how it goes. As far as the Golden C, which I know we all anxiously await eagerly, where is it? Here it is. Nope, that's not it. Down here. Sorry, guys. Okay, number 2, connections. Build them real. So after you've commented, that's when you can connect. Send them a nice connection request, personalize it, get some actual content in there. Just like Amy was telling you earlier, take a moment, look at something that they've done. Like Lee says, know at least one fact about them. It's not a whole lot of effort. I promise you, with about 45 seconds worth of effort, you can change your entire connecting experience. So we'll make this a twofer because we're at 5:03. So we'll do another one. This is back-to-back Golden C. So we're really treating you guys here. So after you connect with that person, don't call them, don't message them. Make meaningful content. Wait for them to engage with your content. When you are making meaningful content and you're actually creating traction, people are going to be engaging with it, people are going to be reacting to it, and that person that you are connected with is now going to be able to see that content. So if they're commenting on your stuff and they're interested in you, that's a pretty good indicator that you might be able to move to the last step of the Golden C, which everybody wants to do first, which is some sort of... We have to wait to find out.
I've got a different bent on the don't message them right away.
Okay.
Or I don't do it right away. But one of the things that I will do with connections that, I look and there's actually some, something interesting, and they're not just, another Bitcoin, enthusiast, or, another Fiverr designer from wherever, then I, can send a video. So we talked about, bomb dub, whatever. And it's just, my standard thing is just like, hey, how you doing? Thanks so much for connecting. I hope you're doing well. If there's anything I can ever do to help, blah, blah, blah. Or I'll go find something out about them, go visit their profile, comment on one of their things, and then I can relay that back in that first message. So that first contact is positive because it's personal, I hope, or I scare them and they go away, which is fine too. And exactly. It's just like, oh crap, what's up with this weird guy? I need to hightail it out of here. But most people don't. And people really, I've gotten a lot of comments in PMs back that just say, my gosh, you took the time to do that. That's so rare these days.
It is.
And if you do, it's, I've had people say, I almost didn't open it because I figured it was a sales pitch. But then they do. So that's something you work against too. So that's a little thing I've been testing around, because people do have those biases because of chuckleheads doing things like that. So that's something we have to be cognizant of as marketers as well. Okay, I'll shut up now.
I just want to say one thing about that, is that I think in doing the bomb videos or a voice memo or something, and you can write something too, it helps you stand apart from others in a very good way, that you are taking the time. I mean, and that's the thing. And when you have a video, they get to see your face, and like, even they've only heard, read your content or whatever. They're, oh, he's a real person. I mean, it really helps others kind of go, oh, okay, there is a human on the other side of this, and they are like legit, and they, so I think that's a really good move. But yeah, I'm curious. I think because you said like the chuckleheads behaving badly, maybe everyone's a little bit on guard, but they take time to open it, I think they'll be pleasantly surprised. So I think that's a really interesting sort of practice and kind of cool. So I may borrow that and see how that works.
Feel free. I do it. I don't bother with
ahead.
the green screen. You can actually see the green sheet behind me when I'm doing them. It's just, hey, this is after hours in my office, and sometimes I don't even wear a bow tie.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, so it's more meant to be that casual contact rather than, hey, I'm setting you up for a sales pitch.
Right. That you're just a
real way. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Oh, so were you putting did I interrupt your cheeky something you were going to put up, Alex?
Me? Oh, no, I was just going to highlight this article. This was Charles. He, for some reason, he comes through as a LinkedIn user, probably privacy settings, but he linked this article, which is an embarrassment for a PhD, honestly, but that's okay, because we'll go through it and we'll explain it. So...
Wow.
Let's go ahead, and I'll just share screen for this. That'll be a little bit easier. There we go. 10 reasons your LinkedIn messages are being ignored. I did not. And Charles, I'm gonna. What? Oh, Lee. Okay, that was your audio mixer. I have an audio mixer too, so I wanted to make sure that wasn't me. All right, so we start off good. We get 10 reasons. I think there are more than 10, but I understand you're trying to write. So it's your goal to connect with 2 new people a day on LinkedIn. Starts out good. Now go back to writing your thesis. That's never good. Bad strategy. No one expected my connection request. Wonder why. How embarrassing. I'm sure the person who wrote the email back to me was like, you're an overeducated loser with no common sense who is never going to get a PhD job. So right away, we know, too, that's one of the other issues is that the audience is PhDs, oh, you're an overeducated loser. Anybody who's trying to quote unquote feel bad for themselves for being overeducated is just a waste of your time. So don't let their pride get in your way on that. I'd like to add you, I started to just write personal messages. No one answered those. Anybody can find that out by sending those. How we met. This guy isn't even getting people asking him questions except how the heck they know him. Dude, it's not advice on how to be successful. This article is not going to give you any steps that you're making. These are all the stupid things that I've done that LinkedIn tells you to do by default that have not worked. Why LinkedIn matters. Tell you why LinkedIn matters. You know why LinkedIn matters. This is a 2014 earnings report. It's 2014. It's 6 years old. This data isn't even relative anymore. It's your best chance of making a good first impression online. Google handles 8 billion searches a second. How in the world is LinkedIn possibly ever going to be my best chance of making a good first impression online? They're going to search for you. Connecting is a negotiation. If you view this as a negotiation, you're inherently viewing two sides, two opposing parties. You don't look at it as me versus you. It's us versus the problem. I've never once gotten an account from trying to tell a business everything that was wrong. Ever. That's just not. I'm not going to go in there and be like, Citrix sucks. Yeah, I won't get past the door, dude. No, it's not that. It's, hey, look, we have better solutions out there. We're going to get these in place for you, and we'll lead you to where you want to go. And then it's a collaborative solution. You're not negotiating when you're connecting with somebody. You're collaborating. You're connecting. That's the whole point. Nobody respects weakness. Maybe not. I don't know. Why should anyone give you their money? I mean, we've all literally answered this question. So here, now we come to the 10 reasons that we've been ignored, which is a waste of half of a page that was way too unoptimized. But you don't know anyone. What? You don't say why you're connecting. I mean, yeah, that's pretty obvious. You don't care about them. Well, these are common sense. You write too much. I mean, or you might be writing way too little. That's not really fair to say. You don't ask questions. Okay, the first valid thing I've read. So we got to get halfway down the page. Ask questions, guys. There you go. Don't use a PS. I don't know anyone who ever uses a PS, but if you do, you're not going to get past the inbox anyways. You're needy. Lee, do you use PSs?
No. For God's sake, no. No. My great-great-grandma Myrtle used PSs. But her shit was so shaky by the time it was like it just looked like a walrus mounting a penguin.
Use subject line and you contribute nothing. These are so general, guys. This is horrible. Oh yeah. So
who wrote this? Who was this from?
I know you're going to be really surprised who this is from. It's going to be from the owner of the website, Cheeky Scientist. So surprise, surprise, somebody who owns a website is doing something that's going to trigger SEO content, LinkedIn messages. I mean, you're just trying to attract searches, and you're being really broad in your reach, bro.
Okay.
Yeah. Fragile Ego comes to mind, but that's just my first impression. I really have no idea. I've never met the guy.
Tell us how you feel.
I will. Sorry, guys. I'm very passionate about educational content. We try really hard. Oh, my bad. I shouldn't be sharing. So
there we are.
There we go. Now we're back. We try hard to give you guys good content that's going to help you guys. So don't be led astray. And when it comes to finding things that suck on the internet, Lee and I will tear about just anything down. So we got you.
We will. But to get this all together, let's go ahead and do a little train ride through Mongolia, shall we? It's like a timeout for live streamers.
Peaceful.
Well, look, we're down to less than 10 minutes. So, Alex, does this mean it's time to do final thoughts, or we're getting close anyway?
We're getting close, but we still got 7 whole minutes to go. And final thoughts at maybe 30 seconds or a minute and a half, however long you want. I mean, maximum, I'm looking at 3 to 4 minutes. So we got another 3 to 4 minutes to fill before we can go on. I can filibuster for about 35 seconds max before I start to tap out.
Really? Well, can I mention Phoenix Points?
Phoenix Points? Yeah, dude. I don't even know about that, so educate me.
Oh, really? So this is this cool thing that I'm starting next week in Copy Brand U to optimize engagement when you complete tasks or you answer that, like the hotbox comment. Remember the hotbox thing I was showing you earlier today?
Yeah, I remember hotboxing earlier.
Yeah, the hotbox.
He has a hotbox button. It's hilarious.
And I wonder why LinkedIn won't give me any traffic. Anyway, so like asking questions in there for people to answer. And so, when they show up for the trainings and they answer the hotbox questions, they get experience points that they can save up and they can use toward swag. They can use toward electives, workshops, anything else we offer. So, like just actually going through and using the content that I provide gives you experience Phoenix points to save up toward free stuff. And so, I think, I was just like, wow, people that I've been talking to about this are just like, this is fantastic. What a great way to learn how to write persuasive marketing and make it actually fun. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot of going forward online. It's just, we've got to make it engaging, because we've all bought these freaking courses that we bought. Oh, this is a great, and then it's still collecting digital dust. So, that whole engagement thing, and that goes back to what we're saying here. It's back and forth. It's not just one way, whether it's a LinkedIn post or a course or anything else. The internet is not one way anymore. We now live in a connection economy.
Dude, the internet is wild. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, man.
Yeah, it really is. Well, thinking about it, you're
man.
talking about a connection economy, and it's so much more than just being two ways now. The internet has come such a long way that we're able to distribute video at an 8 megabyte a second rate to stream to you guys. 8 megabytes every single second. It's a lot, man.
Yeah.
A heck of a lot. It's more than it's on the first PCs. I mean, this is the kind of processing power that we're just using for the heck of it. That was a luxury back in the day. I mean, when the internet was coming up, everything has changed from the way that you don't have to use wwws anymore. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, you grow older and you learn those are just subdomains, and the way it used to work, you couldn't use your Apex domain, but now you can, and we're doing all sorts of cool stuff. You got new TLDs. You don't have .com, .org, .net anymore. You have all of those plus .dev, .tech, .io, .lawyer, .attorney, .army, There's so many different things that you can do on the internet to really be unique. And then everyone always tells you to just be the same as everybody else. It's not one way. It's not even both ways. The internet is infinite because anything that you want, you can get.
Yeah.
And yet I have clients who fax me shit.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
You'll have that.
Yeah.
Fax. That's like.
Yeah. It's like message in a bottle, dead drop type stuff,
That's
man.
right. Occasionally carrier pigeon, usually Black Ops, though.
Oh, always Black Ops. They have to be specially trained.
Yeah, we'll bring
now
out the
we're
Black
coming
Ops
up to final thoughts, though, Lee.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah, see?
Cool.
So 517.
Well, I've already pretty much I did my little promo thing, so
for your Phoenix bucks?
Yeah.
Phoenix coins?
Phoenix points.
Phoenix points. Okay.
Which are kind of like duck bucks, only different.
Okay. We'll have to have duck bucks and Phoenix coins. Completely separate currency, guys. Sorry. You're going to have to keep track of a lot. But
all right.
We'll just build another digital wallet. It's okay. We'll sass the heck out of this thing. No big deal. So we're coming to final thoughts. You guys know what time it is. And Amy, as our honored guest, you'll go first. You go on center stage, so it'll just be you, and you get 30 seconds, a minute and a half, or really however long you want to leave our wonderful friends out in the audience with your final thoughts for the day. Okay. I will go ahead and put you up, and you're on the clock.
So I would say the couple things that I would impart to this audience to kind of take away are to remember to know what you want, why you're doing something, why you're posting content, why you want to show up at all. So have clarity about your purpose and your content, intentionality with your messaging. I would also add that the two principles of branding, personal branding or any other type of branding, are consistency and discipline. So when you decide to show up, and I hope you do decide to show up in a very visible way, I hope it is on a consistent basis, that you are sharing your wisdom and your content regularly, and that you are also have the discipline to stay in your wheelhouse of expertise. That means when you consistently post and comment about things that you want others to come to associate you with, that will only help others understand who you are, what matters most to you, who you work with, the value that you bring, right? It helps them know, like, and trust you, because the whole goal is to make it easy for them to connect with you and to understand who you are. So you can do that by being clear, being intentional, and showing up consistently. So stop hiding, and step up and out. That's it.
Ooh. That was a wonderful final thought. I love that. Stop hiding, step up, and step out. Y'all heard it here first. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Lee, I
Awesome.
always ask this question, and I typically say you can go first. This time, what if I go first and then you get to go last?
That's perfect because I got a shtick for the last one. So
Ooh,
you
even
go
better.
ahead.
Okay. So, what's up? Thank you guys so much for joining us. You know that it's always a lot of fun, and I hope you guys got a lot out of this, some valuable insights, and thank you so much to Amy for joining us today and for everybody to tuning in. My final thoughts today are going to be much like they are almost every day. Be a better person than you were yesterday, and you'll be okay. Do at least one nice thing for somebody else. Care about somebody else other than yourself, and when you're evaluating a situation, make sure that you're examining the sum of everyone and not just yourself. Be better than anyone expects you to be because that's going to take you further than anything else that you're going to do. You guys all are incredible at what you do. Believe in yourself, be present, and be well. And now, to lead us out, good friend and co-host Lee Rowley for the win.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Amy, and thank you, Alex, as always, for making this another fantastic episode of BowtieUP Live, and for our wonderful audience members who have hung out with us and commented, asked questions, cajoled, thrown things. I don't know what the heck you guys got going over there, but thanks anyway, as always, for showing up and hanging out with us on BowtieUP Live. And since I've really already done my my pitch, I guess I'll just lead out with a little bit of shtick.
We hope you have enjoyed your time with us on BowtieUP Live. Please join us next time when Andy Neary will be joining us for another rousing discussion. Please keep arms and legs inside the vehicle until it comes to a complete stop. Be present and be well. Ha 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 ha.